have a lot of big-time influencers who sell supplements are adding this into their offering. This product is so unproven. I also believe it should be. Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where normally we're cooking up some anabolic deliciousness, but today we're going to be talking supplements. In particular, we're going to be discussing turkesterone. A lot of people have asked me my opinion on this. They're curious if it's something safe that they should take, if it's something that's worth trying, if it's something that could be dangerous. So we're going to talk about all that and more today. I'm going to go through a few points, share my thoughts. Hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully it gives you something to think about before you decide to use this supplement if you are thinking about using it. So let's dive right into it by talking about supplements in general. And turkesterone is, of course, a supplement, and like all supplements, it could really be anything. There is no regulation as to what they're putting in any supplements, let alone this particular one. Even your protein powders are really not regulated. Let's jump right into it and talk about what turkesterone is. I'm not going to go into too much sciencey detail. There's much better channels that can go into that for you. But basically, it's a supplement that's supposed to do or promises to do many things that anabolic steroids will do for you with none of the bad side effects that come along with it. And I don't know about you, but when I hear that, skepticism goes real high, real fast, because usually if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. In this case, it's evidently a plant-based supplement. So once we hear plant-based, that automatically brings up some safe flags, because if it's plant-based, it must be okay. Well, not necessarily. Oh, it must be fine because it's not synthetically made. It must come from the earth. It just grows and we put it in a pill form and we package it up and we just give it to you to have, and it's magic. It just does everything that anabolic steroids do with none of the bad stuff that goes along with it, like lowering your testosterone, shutting down your testosterone, giving you acne, having hair loss. None of that stuff happens. Just get the good stuff, just the muscle building properties. It doesn't have long-term side effects, we think, like any other supplement, of course. There's no guarantees on anything. One thing you always have to think about whenever you're taking any kind of supplement is that this is the biggest unregulated industry in the entire world. It is a multi-billion-dollar unregulated industry that is insane, the amount of money that people make off of selling supplements to the general public. And it's oftentimes being sold to people who don't even know what they're taking. A lot of people take protein powder and don't even know why that they're taking it, but they've been told that it builds muscle, so they do it. The only real supplement that we know what it does and know that it works is creatine. Maybe you can make an argument for protein powder as well, because that's basically a food. Those two, other than them, there's really nothing else that's proven to do what it says it's supposed to do. And I think we're getting into a very dangerous area with this turkesterone. It actually reminds me of another supplement back in the day. We're going way back about 23 years, 1998. There was a very popular supplement that was around when I was a kid, dating myself now, but it was called Ripped Fuel. It was basically ephedrine. What one expert said was one atom away from being a methamphetamine. So when I hear turkesterone is just like anabolic steroids, but it has none of the negative side effects, it immediately made me think of this Ripped Fuel supplement. And people were taking it for a little while without any trouble, but then there was a 15-year-old that randomly collapsed, seemingly during some activity that they were doing, collapsed and then died 3 days later. And basically it was blamed on the amount of ephedrine that was in this person's system caused them to die. They overloaded their organs, overloaded their heart, and unfortunately they didn't make it. At the time when this was being sold, the supplement industry was very new. It wasn't nearly as big as it is today, so there was even less regulation. They could put anything in this stuff. I swear at one point they were selling stuff that was highly illegal, but it worked, so you'd go back and buy it. But I digress. That's not what we're here to talk about today. My point in telling that story is that we don't know anything about turkesterone. It is so new, and people are seeing certain results sometimes that there's a lot of hype behind what it does. And it's a very dangerous and slippery slope you go down when someone promises that a supplement does something that another substance does that will cause long-term side effects, but this one doesn't. Especially when it's brand new, because there's no long-term to know what the long-term side effects are supposed to be. So just like Ripped Fuel was supposed to be this great energy weight loss supplement that you would take, turkesterone has kind of the same promises by being like an anabolic steroid, with none of the bad side effects. One of my biggest issues with this supplement is that you have a lot of big time influencers who sell supplements are adding this into their offering, and they're selling it, they're promoting it, and they're saying all the right things, most of them, at least the ones that I've seen, that the results aren't guaranteed, there's no dangerous side effects, but we don't know. It might be a substance that gets banned eventually, but right now it's legal. And to me, when I hear something like that, again, the alarm bells go off. It's sounding like something that's too good to be true, and people selling it, I just don't agree with it. You're selling something that might do harm to somebody, but we don't know yet. It doesn't make any sense to me that people who are in the fitness industry, the health industry, are selling you these supplements without knowing what the long-term side effects are. Honestly, it makes me feel like it's a very popular drug and they're just trying to get a quick buck while it lasts. And I know a lot of them are trying it and giving you their own results as they go. Remington James just started doing a cycle on it. He released his thoughts on turkesterone. Of course, his company, Final Boss Performance, is selling it. Greg Doucette's new supplement line, he's selling it. More Plates, More Dates, I think was the first place I even heard about this supplement. He's selling it, but we don't know any of the long-term side effects, and I don't know how in good conscience you can sell something if you don't know if it's going to harm somebody in the long run. It's just very perplexing to me, especially I know a lot of these influencers are mostly good people who want to help you get healthy, stay fit, make gains, do all that good stuff that we love in the fitness industry. It just seems like it doesn't make any sense in this instance to me. I can understand selling somebody a protein powder, even a pre-workout. I mean, a lot of us know what the pre-workouts do. It's basically caffeine, beta-alanine. Those are the two big things that you see in a lot of pre-workouts. That stuff, you can make your own assessment if you want to take that. It's probably not going to cause you any long-term harm if you use it for a short or even a little more of an extended period of time. This, we don't know. And it's very expensive, very expensive. You could find yourself going down the road with spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just for a cycle or two, and then find out that it doesn't work, but you may have put yourself in a bad position of your health long term. Because again, we don't know what the long-term side effects are here. This is something that's an unknown. Just like Ripped Fuel was back in the day. Apparently we're gonna wait for somebody to drop dead or some other negative side effect that we don't even know about yet down the line. To me, unethical. And this whole no negative side effects thing is oftentimes followed by buy in bulk, it's back in stock, buy it while it lasts, it's selling like hotcakes, you gotta get it now, you need a lot to do a cycle, buy, get as much as you can because we don't know when we're gonna have it once it sells out. This type of sales tactic, I get it, they're business people, they're trying to make money, and nobody respects that more than me, trust me. But I think there has to be some kind of ethical standard when you're selling something on your company's name and you don't know what it does long term. It just doesn't sound right. The promise of it being like an anabolic steroid is like the promise of the lottery. We don't know if you're gonna win, but you can't win if you don't play, so you can't make the gains if you don't do a cycle or two. At the end of the day, that just seems like a false promise to me. Even if it does work for you, you don't know what it's gonna do to you down the line. I think I'm pretty close, if I'm not there, to being the second oldest YouTuber out there next to Greg Doucette, and I'm telling you, over my lifetime, one thing I've learned is that if it looks too good to be true, especially in the fitness industry, it probably is. This product is so unproven. I also believe it should be taken off the shelves until we have more information as to exactly what it does. And I think it's a very real possibility that this is something that is going to get banned, either as a precaution or because I believe they will find some kind of negative side effects that do come from using it. I would liken it to my son's situation. He has celiac disease, which basically means he can't have any food with gluten in it. So cross-contamination is a huge issue. Making a long story short, we have to be extra careful with even foods that are gluten-free. If they've been cross-contaminated with something that does have gluten in it, he's going to get very sick and have some very serious health problems. So it would be like me not being sure if there was any cross-contamination with it, but giving him the food and saying, here you go, son, have this. It might have some cross-contamination on it, we're not sure. Some pieces of breadcrumbs might have fallen into it, and you might be sick for a few days, but I don't think you will be, and this is the food that we have that we bought, so just eat it, and we'll hope for the best. You don't want to hope for the best with your health, trust me. I wouldn't do that to him, and with turkesterone, you shouldn't be doing it to yourself. In a more extreme example, it's also sort of like a drug dealer and the person buying the drugs. Yes, you're probably just gonna get a high and you'll probably be okay the next day. But you know what? You could overdose. You could be buying more than you think you are, or buying something that's not actually what you wanted, and dying because of it. So just be sure, if you're deciding that you want to go ahead and do a turkesterone cycle, make sure that you're okay and ready to accept the consequences for taking a drug that there is very little to no information about. I get it, we all want the shortcut. We all want something that's going to push us over the edge, something that's going to give us an advantage. But much like Remington said in his video, if you're not doing everything else right already, if your diet's not on point, if your exercise regimen isn't on point, if you haven't been doing this already, this fitness thing, for an extended amount of time, if you don't have a lot of training years, if your training age is so low, you haven't even peaked naturally yet, I don't know why you would want to take turkesterone, anabolic steroids, or anything really other than protein powder and creatine. I honestly don't know why. Until you've maxed that out, there is absolutely no reason to try to take a shortcut and try this now. Even people who are established lifters who have been lifting for years, decades, multiple decades, it still doesn't make any sense to take because you don't know what's in it and you don't know what the long-term side effects are going to be either. The overall recurring theme of my rant today is that we just don't know what turkesterone will do long-term, and there's no guarantees that you're going to get the results that you want anyway. I would recommend that anybody who's young, teenager, early 20s, heck, even a little bit older, don't take it. There's no reason. Unless you've totally maxed out and you've got no place else to go, you haven't seen results, and you're doing absolutely everything you can in your power to get more of the gains that you're looking to do, it just doesn't make any sense. And even if you are that rare person who's done all of those things already and everything's been on point for years and years and years and you're not making any progress, be sure this is the route you want to go. Considering taking turkesterone is the same as considering taking anabolic steroids, probably even more so, because at least with the steroids, we know what the side effects are or could be. With this, we have no clue. Personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't sell or take something that there was no information on because I don't want to be a guinea pig for somebody else to make money. That's not what I want to do. Maybe you have different feelings, and that's fine. Obviously, at the end of the day, we're all adults, most of the time. All adults. We make our own decisions on what we want to do with our bodies, and if it's something you do want to do, that's fine. Obviously, you're an adult, you can do what you want, it's your body, fine. But just make sure you are very carefully considering what the consequences could be. I'm never going to take it. I'm never going to sell it because I don't think it's ethical to do so. In my humble opinion, the only thing with turk in it that you should be eating is turkey. You're going to get more gains, guaranteed gains, from eating the turkey than you will taking turkesterone. That I can promise you. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm curious, are you at all interested in taking turkesterone? Have you taken turkesterone? What do you think of it? Am I way off here? Am I right? Do you agree? Should we just take it now and roll the dice? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. Have one of those boisterous discussions. But it's getting to be about that time. I gotta get up out of here because it's Thanksgiving. It's time to go cook some turkey. Trust me when I say that's where the real gains are. So, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.